Happy New Year and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. Joe, how we doing?
Happy New Year, fam. We're doing pretty good. I was just telling Gilbs I'm wearing glasses today, which is a big change for me because I had an eye doctor's appointment. They gave me those drops to make sure everything's okay. And do my eyes deceive me? But did the Flyers play a hockey game last night?
The Flyers did play a hockey game last night. We're recording this on Monday, January 6th, I believe is the birthday of Ed Snyder. So shout out Ed Snyder there. I think that legacy game's coming up on, I think that's on Thursday against the Stars.
There's some other famous event that happened on January 6th, but I can't quite put my finger on what it was.
Just a bunch of like peaceful gatherings here and there, just people gathering, sharing some thoughts, sharing some opinions and whatnot. And that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, that's what the McGraw-Hill textbooks will say in 50 years.
Yeah, sharing some thoughts, sharing some ideas here. Yeah, been a while here. It's been a while. I saw Flyperbole put out 2 podcasts since we last did. Mm-hmm. Great episodes there. Make sure you go listen to those. Make sure you also subscribe to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast feed on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube as well. On top of the show here, make sure you check out Bet Online. It continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. All right, Joe, where do you want to get started with this podcast here?
Just one quick hit. A little bit before we went live, the New York Rangers claimed Arthur Kaliev from the LA Kings. And I saw Flyers fans being like, whoa, they should get him. He's another winger, specifically a right winger, which we really don't need. And he was claimed by the New York Rangers, who, believe it or not, are worse in the standings than the Philadelphia Flyers. So we will never know if the Flyers actually did try to claim him. Probably not, because the Rangers picked him up first. I just pulled up Tankathon. The Rangers would be picking 7th if the draft were today. That is wild.
Mm-hmm. Well, I posted last week or so that the Rangers are going to fall ass backwards into James Higgins. Shesterkin's on the IR now. I mean, they beat the Blackhawks on Sunday, but that's not really anything too impressive. Well, speaking of the Blackhawks, did you know the Winter Classic was happening? And did you watch it at all?
No, absolutely not. I played video games instead. Who gives a shit about the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues? Like, good job, NHL. I mean, I just read Mark Lazarus's article over on The Athletic today, and it was kind of a reflection on that game and just how miserable and excruciating things are in Chicago. And his writing is basically, this is awful, and maybe in a few years we'll look back and we'll all just kind of smile at each other and be like, hey, remember those like 3 years where it was absolutely brutal and awful and miserable? And now we're here winning a Stanley Cup. But right now, people are like they're miserable. They can't even watch the team. Like, they don't have television broadcasts. Like, it's awful, man.
That's a real shame there. Everything going on behind the scenes there with the Blackhawks over the past decade and a half now. 2025, 2010 was 15 years ago. I mean, they had their dynasty. They had whatnot. So they can suffer for a bit there and there in Chicago. But the Winter Classic, I turned it on for I think a little bit in the second period. It was like 5-1 or whatever. I was like, this is not worth it.
I think you tweeted like it was. What happened to the perfect New Year's Day hangover?
Yes,
that's what it should be.
I woke up like 11 or noon. I was like, all right, let me. This would be perfect time. Lay on the couch, watch some hockey. But no, I just took a nap instead. And then the Flyers played that night, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to watch the Winter Classic when I have carved out 2 hours of my night on New Year's Eve to watch my team. So put it back on New Year's Day. Put it between 2 good teams. Put it in a winter climate where there might be snow. And make it on New Year's Day every year. Fuck football. Come on.
I don't think we'll have too many winter climates in the coming years, though, except for today in Philadelphia, where it did snow this morning. We had a snow day, but no, good teams. That would be great. I would love to see like a cup rematch, Winter Classic or something. So maybe like in a neutral location, the Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers in like, I don't know, somewhere cold and wintry, or something fun, some kind of story. Story is there behind the Blues and the Blackhawks.
It's Bedard. I guess it's a local rivalry and whatnot, but Wrigley Field had been done before, and a much better matchup. I think with the Red Wings back when they were good with Datsuk and whatnot there. But I wouldn't even be opposed to having like a set venue for it, or you cycle between three venues up north. Sure, the home fans don't get to enjoy it, but I mean the road fans travel no matter what. So make both teams travel, make it in somewhat of a destination city. Maybe I don't know where exactly, but
the Lake Tahoe game was such a cool idea.
Yeah, you can't have fans there, so it made sense with the COVID restrictions.
Right.
But like, I don't know, there are plenty of better ways to do it than a retread of a retread or Florida.
I pitched it. Well, I was gonna say, what if you had the Florida Winter Classic and it's the Lightning versus the Panthers inside the Magic Kingdom castle at Disney World? That would be crazy.
And like the moat outside the castle there, where they have the water there.
Turn it into a rink.
Yeah, apparently Florida is hosting 2 outdoor games or indoor games in the Marlins Park next year. But
that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever. I guess grow the game, whatever works. They're good down there. Whatever.
They're good teams. That's also fun.
I just feel like at this point we're almost 20 years into outdoor games. No matter what they do, everyone's gonna have something bad to say about it. They're cool. They're cool events to go to. They're cool to watch on TV, but they're also not marketed. Like I can't tell you how many times I saw that commercial about like the new generation of player and the new generation are lazy or whatnot.
Right.
Instead of playing that 100 times, play a Winter Classic preview commercial like 25 times and get something like that. And Road to the Winter Classic used to be fantastic on HBO, and now I think it's still on Max or on TNT or whatever, but just not the same. It's just not the same. Back in my day, it was so much better.
With the Stadium Series too, like it's too many outdoor games. It doesn't have that like special thing, that like vibe to it anymore. It's just like, oh, 1 of 4 per season. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, NHL got greedy with it. They saw, all right, look at all this money we're making. Let's multiply that, and it works in the short run. But now in the long run, people aren't as much for it. But
also on the bright side, we got to see the Blackhawks embarrass themselves in Wrigley Field. That was kind of nice.
Yeah, and I think after the game, I don't know if it was Taylor Hall or some veteran said that they got dog walked by the Blues there, which
Bedard
they did. Bedard said that.
Bedard said they got dog walked. Yeah. Taylor Hall was apparently on the verge of tears. Like Nick Foligno was just like beside himself and like dropping F-bombs on interviews. Like, is that really what we would want in a rebuild in Philadelphia? Like, I get the quest for those top end talents, but is it worth it to see this? Because what if it doesn't work? Then you went through all this for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we can always bring it back to the Flyers and rebuild it. Like, look at McDavid versus Eichel. Edmonton and Buffalo still haven't won anything. Edmonton did go to the Cup final last year, but Eichel's won a cup after being traded. But like, still, like, getting all these top picks, Edmonton, Buffalo, the Rangers even just traded Kakko a few weeks ago. Like
the Kings.
The Kings aren't rebuilding though.
They did. Quentin Byfield, Alex Turcotte, like they took the Rangers route. They kind of kept their big veterans in Doughty and Kopitar and Jonathan Quick for a little while. Mm-hmm. And they drafted real high for like 2-3 years, and they said, right, rebuild's done. And now here we are.
Yeah,
they look good. I still don't believe in them, but they look good.
They still haven't won a playoff round since their Stanley Cup win the Stanley Cup Stanley Cup win in 2014. Did not qualify. First round did not qualify. First round 3 years did not qualify, and then the past 3 years losing to the Oilers in 7, 6, and 5. So
and they're same thing this year. I bet you they just get waxed by Edmonton again, unless maybe Darcy Kemper was the solution in net all along, and they just get the bad version of Stuart Skinner. I don't know. Could be interesting.
anything can happen in a 7-game series, I guess. They don't seem too built for the playoffs there. Good team, good regular season team, kind of like the Hurricanes, how they're like, but once you get someone to game plan for it, like in a 7-game series, it doesn't.
Or the Jets,
out. The Jets in the playoffs. The past 2 years, just
pathetic. Hey, how's playing Connor Hellebuck 68 games a year working out for you guys in the postseason? Not too good, huh?
No.
It's working out pretty good for your fantasy team, though.
It is. I got Hellebuck. I got I have 4. I have Demko. I have Gustafson. And another 4th good goalie. I forget who there. So yeah,
it's really annoying. Oh, these past 2 weeks, slight fantasy aside, I lost by like 4 points 2 weeks ago, and then another 4 or 5 points this week because Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson have been injured for the past 2 weeks, and then this most recent week, Val Nichushkin and Patrick Laine both went down, and I'm just like, God damn it! Those 4 players could have got me 4 points, that I still just couldn't. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Anyway, you mentioned Pettersson. Before we get to him, I want to give my 2 cents here on Kaliev. Like, in years past, maybe that's a guy you pick up to put on the 3rd line, put on the 4th line. But the Flyers have 12 good forwards right now. They have 13 or 14 if you include Lixell. They can call up Ant Dick if they want to. Tuomala apparently was a healthy scratch a few weeks ago that Maddie Campbell wrote about, I believe, BroadStreetHockey.com. Make sure you check out her coverage there of all things Flyers prospects and phantoms there. But yeah, Kaliev, if there was a spot where we had Nate Thompson or Brendan Lemieux playing, sure, pick up Kaliev. He's still 23, second round pick a few years ago, could still turn into something. But
he'd take Bobby Brink's spot if Bobby Brink weren't here. That's where Kaliev would slot in. Not that it matters, because even if the Flyers had put in a claim, they wouldn't have gotten him because the Rangers beat them to the punch.
Yes. But Pettersson, I mean, we've been talking about him for a few shows now, and it's like it's almost official now in Vancouver. Like Friedman coming out and saying, like,
one of them,
it's legit. One of them, maybe both of them, are going. They are looking for a center, which the Flyers would have to like dress up 3 middle sixers and like a trench coat to become a 1C to trade for Pettersson. But I mean, they don't have the leverage, and the Flyers should trade for him. I mean, we can dig more into that now or later if you want to.
Let's do it. We'll cover the World Juniors in a minute. So first question: should the Flyers trade for Elias Pettersson? Because this is a locker room predicated. The Flyers locker room is predicated on accountability and the John Tortorella show up to work. You play your heart out. Would we want to bring in Elias Pettersson, who we don't know what the rift is. We don't know the details. The best we know is that JT Miller is a crazy competitive Peter Laviolette style, rip your heart out of your chest kind of player. And Elias Pettersson is more of a kind of quieter, more just, I don't want to say sensitive, but that kind of more introverted player who's like, I know what I need to do. You don't need to yell in my face about it.
He seems kind of like to equate it to a Flyers good player, kind of like Sean Couturier. Like he leads.
Yes.
He doesn't talk too much. Maybe Pettersson's a bit more passive, but
or Sanheim. Travis Sanheim kind of fits that mold too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's 26, I believe. Elias Pettersson is just turned 26 in November. So I don't know if that exactly fits the rebuild timeline, but I mean, we've talked about it before. Once first line centers do not become available very often. So
especially before free agency.
Yeah. Yes. And he's locked up. He just signed the extension through 2032. He has a no move clause kicks in next year. So this would be the time for them to trade him.
Or the summer.
But obviously they should trade Miller before him. But Miller has a no move clause.
Also, Rick Tocchet probably loves JT Miller.
Yeah, I could see Miller going to Boston for Poitras and some other guys there if they're trying to get younger. I could just see him in a Bruins jersey.
So I've also seen Buffalo because they have Dylan Cousins who would fit that center bill that the Canucks are looking for. I got spicy. I'm like, what if we created a 3-team trade here that the Flyers wind up with Elias Pettersson? So I don't know what Buffalo's looking for, and I don't know outside of a center what the Canucks would be looking for. But you figure maybe for Pettersson, Buffalo sends I don't know if they want Pettersson. Like, what does he fix for them? Like, their locker room's a hellhole already. I don't know if Elias Pettersson fixes that in such a way. So maybe the Canucks end up with Dylan Cousins and Bo Byram, who is an RFA and would play incredible behind Quinn Hughes on left defense on the second pair. And then the Canucks also receive one of the Edmonton or Colorado first round picks from the Flyers. Buffalo receives Morgan Frost to fill the Cousins hole, a first round pick from the Flyers, and like Scott Lawton. Maybe.
No, they need more. They would need like a Jetlichenko or Oliver Bonk there, I think.
You think they want a prospect, like someone who
they'd want a prospect, or else the Flyers own first round pick, probably maybe like top 10 protected or top 5 protected. But I feel like I was actually thinking about last night, like a 3-team trade with the Flyers would make perfect sense, because the Flyers assets are mostly future assets, younger guys. That's not what Vancouver wants. So you get a third team involved. Flyers get Pettersson. Third team gets the future assets, and then Vancouver gets whatever from the roster. So, yeah.
So my only thought there was Buffalo has committed to this core. Like, this is the team they're going to try and win with. They don't want any more future assets. Like, they have a pretty good pipeline. They're going to, like, they've got a core. They've committed to this one from a contract standpoint. I feel like they kind of want help right now. Also, Kevin Adams, his seat is probably on fire. He doesn't give a shit. He'll get players that get this team over the hump.
Maybe faster. You could use like Minnesota as the third team, because they don't like Rossi long term.
Yeah,
so Rossi goes to Vancouver, but I feel like Minnesota would just want Pettersson back. Like, I don't feel like
they can't afford him. They don't have the cap space.
They might next year after.
That's true.
No, then they have to sign Kaprizov though, so they can't. Yeah, they can't bring in someone that's making $11.6 million before they sign Kaprizov. So yeah, Rossi to Vancouver. Someone. You know, it's basically the same thing we just talked about with Buffalo. Yeah. But bring that back to the Flyers. Like, who are you not willing to trade in a trade? Michkov, Konechny, Sanheim's not going to go. He has a no move clause. He's going to stay.
He'd be the perfect choice, by the way.
Perfect choice might be York.
Oh, I am fully. I think it is York. If Sanheim didn't have a no move clause, yeah, he's the choice.
Yeah,
but York would probably have to be, if this was a 2-team trade, if it was just like Flyers Canucks, it would have to be York, because he would again slot in behind Quinn Hughes on left shot defense, and that would make the most sense. I'm a big York stan. I'm a believer. I'd be really sad about that, but the Flyers still have enough defensemen to do this by committee for a few more years. It would be a big loss. But if you're getting a 1C out of this deal, I could see it happening. As far as the forwards go, TK obviously not getting traded. Michkov, no shot. I would not trade Tyson Foerster, especially we'll talk about Typhon later in this show.
Would you trade Foerster in it?
No, absolutely not. Because look, I know we have a surplus of wingers, but the whole reason to get a center of Pettersson's caliber is to boost up the great wingers that we already have. So, like, everyone's like, oh, you could trade TK before his NMC kicks in. First of all, the Flyers would never do that, because that's a dick move, and they are very much about, like, hey, we're going to stand by the players. Second of all, can you imagine TK on the wing of Elias Pettersson? That'd be crazy. That would be... Look, I know everybody shits on Sean Couturier right now, but if your 2 top lines are some combination of Pettersson and Couturier, and then your wingers are some combination of Michkov, Tippett, Konechny, and I'd say either Foerster or Farabee if he doesn't get traded. Holy shit, do you have a matchup top 6? You could deploy that Couturier line against the team's top offensive production and just shut them the hell down. You want to feast on a lesser line, you send out Pettersson and TK. Like, that would be sick. That'd be so cool. But I take it you're on board for getting Pettersson if they can.
Aboard the Pettersson train since before I left the station. I was sitting there. I was like, when is this train going to leave? Like, should I hop off? Should I check the schedule? It's taken off now. It's taken off. We got some people on board with me as well. And yeah, I feel like, looking at it, I could see Ristolainen being someone that they like. The Flyers would probably have to take back a depth defenseman, possibly, or a depth forward, but
salary retention.
I mean, no, you don't have to retain anything. Pettersson's 11.6. Risto's what, 5.1. Give him Risto, give him Tippett, and then Risto, Tippett, maybe Frost if they want a third roster player, and then a future asset. Do you trade Tippett?
No, I don't think I do.
It's more willing to trade Tippett than trade Foerster, obviously, because Foerster could be a top line winger at this point.
He could be Mark Stone.
He could be better than Mark Stone. Mark Stone could be Tyson Foerster.
Mark Stone could be Tyson Foerster. Wow. I don't know, man. Tippett just, you can see that this team is trending towards speed, and goddamn does he have it. Also, over the last bit of time here, he's been outstanding, and I don't know, man. With the cap increases, that contract might look like a bargain. I'm not too keen to move him, especially because, again, imagine if he had a center that could get him the puck. Be crazy.
I was just about to say that. Imagine Tippett like on the right line that clicks together, like Tippett with a legit top six center and Michkov, like something like that. Like Tippett, Pettersson, and Michkov. Like that would be an amazing line. Or Luchenko in 2 or 3 years. I mean, yeah, Tippett. He can make his own offense. He can go off the rush. He's great. He's kind of finding it on the power play a little bit. He had the one set up that was, I think, called back for offsides, but him and Konechny, I've been connecting there as well. Like, but yeah, I have to imagine the Canucks ask would start with, I mean, they want a center, so maybe Frost, but they would want
that's not enough.
A Tippett. Well, I guess it would be a Farabee, like the Flyers, like a Farabee, Ristolainen, Frost, and Futures would be like what the Flyers start with.
But this is the problem. I don't think the Flyers have the roster players that the Canucks want right now. No, that's why you would have to, if a center is the starting point, Flyers are like starting behind the 8 ball on this one. Could they get there by involving a third team and using all of these draft picks to make it happen? Sure. I also do just want to point out one other thing. We haven't heard the Flyers connected to this at all. Not one bit, right? Like, not mentioned at all. We've heard the Islanders have been connected here. Buffalo, I think. Well, yeah, Buffalo was probably brought up because of Cousins. I just go back to what Keith Jones and the rest of the front office have said, which is, if we're involved with something, you're not going to hear about it. What if? What if?
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Like we had no idea that the Flyers were looking to trade Gauthier. That was out there for 10 months, 9 months, with like every team that checked in on. So it's not. I mean, I can imagine though the Canucks someone on the Canucks side could leak that to somebody, and they would be thrown out there in some way. But yeah, I mean, if 1C becomes available, the Flyers I think have to be involved. I guess the only negative side of things, I'm trying to like make an argument against it, is it too early? Would it be too early to go out for Pettersson?
So, I mean, my favorite is people who are saying you must get Elias Pettersson if you have the chance, but also say Konechny's too old to be a part of this rebuild. Like, I got news for you folks. How old is Travis Konechny right now? He's 27.
Mm-hmm.
And his birthday is when? I don't know. Like, he just turned something. I don't know. Why does Puckpedia not just have birthdays right at the top? But anywho, Pettersson just turned 26. Konechny is 27. If you think that Konechny is too old, but you want Elias Pettersson, boy, have I got news for you. That's just not the case. Is it too early? I don't know, man. I think it depends what you got to give up, but we've said it. A 1C does not become available that often. You take those shots when you get them. You miss. What is it? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think this is one that you kind of got to take. but is it too soon? I don't know. Do you expect any other 1Cs to become available in the next 3 years?
Not really. Like, there's no real free agents. It has to be something like this where there's a rift or a player wants out or there's a salary situation, and that just doesn't happen. And I guess the other thing could be maybe the Flyers don't need a 1C and they're just going to go for the depth option, and like where they have 3 good 2Cs and they can just roll 4 lines. Kind of like they're doing
the
the
Boston approach.
the
Minnesota Wild, technically.
I'm trying to think of a team that won the cup without a 1C, but because it's hard. It's really hard to win a cup without a first line center, without a top pair defenseman, without a top goalie. But I guess another argument could be, like, given the Flyers goaltending situation, which is looking like at least 2 or 3 years away from being good, would it be a waste to bring in someone like Pettersson right now in his prime, paying him 11.6? Like, would that be a waste? And
it might.
And I think that the fit is a concern. Like, you brought it up before. Like, I feel like you could come here and mesh with these guys pretty well, but at the same time, Lawton is kind of the linchpin in the locker room, and I could see Vancouver wanting him to come in. I'm not sure if that's something that's a transferable skill wherever you go. I know there are some veterans that can do that, but that could be an option there as well. Bringing up Konechny, by the way, I tweeted this out on January 1st. Travis Konechny, 1.01 points per game played, was one of 25 players to score a point per game pace in the 2024 calendar year. He ranked 31st in the NHL with 79 points in 78 games. So he's good. He's a good hockey player.
He's real good. I still just keep going back to the all 3 zones data, where it's like he's doing things at a level of like Hart Trophy finalists. Why wouldn't you want that guy on your team?
I mean, he's the Flyers MVP by far. And
sure
I mean, early in the year, we were saying maybe Sanheim is, but Sanheim hasn't fallen off. He's just hasn't been as offensively involved, I guess. And, he's not playing 27 minutes a night back to back. Like, he's playing a lot, but
not to that degree. No, I've ranted about this before, but for everyone who's like, well, they should have traded TK for assets. And I'm like, what, like a late first round pick or 2, maybe? Yeah, we need those future assets. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And where are you going to get your top line talent? Well, you can't find top line talent outside the top 10 draft picks. And I'm like, okay, so then what are those late first round draft picks doing for you? They are not doing anything. They're just, the first round picks. That's cool. Guess what? You have Travis Konechny here already. He's young enough to stay in his prime, even when this team is like a few years from now. What?
Yeah.
Oh, we need more to trade for a 1C. Bro, if Elias Pettersson's available, the Flyers have more than enough draft picks to make that happen. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, like if Elias Pettersson was on a team that's not trying to win right now, and there's a team that's kind of rebuilding, the Flyers would likely be in a much better position to go for him, which, you can't let that stop you from taking a chance. Like, I have to imagine Briere has called on him, and you have to as a first line center. But yeah, speaking of Konechny, like, I could see him aging like Brad Marchand is. Like, Marchand, pretty much a little under a point per game player up until his 30s, and then he had 100 points in his age 30 season while playing with Bergeron and whatnot. So if the Flyers can build a good team, get Konechny on the top 6 there for the rest of his career, like, that's a solid look there.
I mean, again, we've talked about this before. It all comes back to power play production. The Flyers do not have a functioning power play. I think Konechny has the same amount of power play points so far this season that he had in the entirety of last year. Like, everyone's like, oh, he doesn't score enough. And it's like, well, that's because he doesn't have anyone setting him up on the power play. And then, of course, the argument is, well, he should make the power play better. I'm like, we've seen that Matvei Michkov alone does not fix the power play. Like, it takes more than one guy. It takes more than 2 guys to make a power play work.
Well, they finally put Konechny in that trigger spot on the power play on the left side, and he scored in back-to-back games. Like, that, you need to set up one-time chances on the power play. And
sure do.
Michkov off that top unit until one of the power plays last night where he stayed out there the whole time, which I'm fine with. He can, like, put him out, even if he's like a decoy out there. Like, defensemen are going to have to know where he is. He can make plays from anywhere. But
why not?
Yeah, power play goal back-to-back games. Like, unheard of for the Flyers. So we'll take it.
Truly unheard of. Yeah, those power play units are all in a blender. Are you feeling the same way about Michkov being on Unit 2 that you do about him being on a line with Paling and Richard earlier this season, or is it just kind of like, whatever?
It's whatever. The Flyers don't have a top unit or a second unit. I love that the second unit is just the Cates line plus Michkov and Risto. Like it's just throw the Cates. It's great. It's like, okay, go.
How do you feel? How do you feel about Risto on Unit 2?
I'm fine with it. Maybe they wanted to.
Maybe they're shopping him.
I mean, I don't know if that factors into Twitterell's decisions, but I guess Drysdale should be there, but Drysdale makes too many risky choices. He also looks very tentative running the power play.
He's on Unit 1, so he can't be on Unit 2.
He is. He's on. Is he on the top unit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on top unit. So, and Andre's in the AHL.
Sanheim trying to manage his minutes, I guess.
Yeah, same with Sanheim. York, I guess they don't want him on the power play. So, Zamula? It's Risto. You can't put Zamula back there. No. So Risto's fine. He's got a big shot. He can blast.
He was on the Buffalo, the power play in Buffalo
power play.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Eichel helped inflate his points there, but look, for Risto, he's been outstanding the last couple of weeks. So if this is a meritocracy, he has earned a chance to show some power play. Power play, flex his muscles up there, because per natural stat trick over the last 7 games, he has a 63.48 expected goals for percentage at 5-on-5 and a 54.85 Corsi for percentage. Like, those are pretty damn good numbers, and that's not what people think of Rasmus Ristolainen, good play driver. But hey, he was real good last night too against the Leafs. So you know what? Give him a chance up there. See what happens. Why not? Nothing else is working.
Yeah. It's been hard to find a Flyers skater that's been poor performance in the past, month and a half here now. Yeah. According to a natural stat trick, in the past 10 games, Flyers have the best expected goals for percentage, 57.83. The past 25 games, they are right there at second behind the Devils.
In the league.
In the league. And now on the season, they have the 9th best. So the team's playing well at 5-on-5. You know who's not playing well, Joe?
Oh, God. Tell me, Gilbs. Give it to me straight.
It is the goaltending. The Flyers continue to have the worst goaltending in the league. Let me put
crazy. A Philadelphia team with a bad goaltending situation? I've never heard about this before.
78 save percentage is the worst in the league. Columbus is 880, then it jumps up to 890 with Montreal. League average is still 900, so that's fine. And Ivan Fedotov finally got back in the crease for the first time in a month on Sunday night. Didn't look great on either goal, but I think they're fixable things. Like the first one, just stay in the crease. Just stay in the crease. He makes these great saves without knowing, because he's in the butterfly. He covers the whole bottom of the net. That's all he has to do.
He's the wacky waving, inflatable arm flailing tube man of goaltenders. It's just driving me nuts out there.
And then the second goal, you can learn rebound control. That can't go back into the slot. And once it does, don't go out and try to kick out the puck and then flail. Revert back into the crease. They need to get Lundqvist in there. Lundqvist played so deep in the crease. They need to have him go out there and give Fedotov some tips. But overall,
I just want to talk about that rebound. He made 2 incredible saves. Right? The first one was pretty good. He made the second save and he kicked it right back into the slot. And then that one went in. And I'm like, bro, come on. He had a great pad save later on that that was a game saver. I think that is the one, that is the momentous save. But it was good. He ended with a 885, I think, or something.
880, 22 saves on 25 shots. So
overtime goals. What are you going to do?
Overtime goals, 3-on-3. Yeah, what are you going to do there?
Start Brink and Cates, apparently.
So if you ignore the first 3 starts by Fedotov this year, where he allowed 5 in Calgary on a back-to-back, 5 in Seattle, and 4 in Washington. So since that game at Tampa Bay, he's 4-1-2, 21 goals against in 8 games, which includes only 1 period. So less than 3 goals per game. Save percentage 899. That's league average. And as I wrote about in my article, browserjockey.com, He hasn't really had a chance to play behind this Flyers team. This Flyers team kind of turned the corner mid-November when they put these lines together, or some of these lines together. And since then, they've been great. The first month and a half of the season, they were still trying to find it, still were not playing well in front of their goalie. So I wanted Fedotov to get a chance, and he finally did. He played fine. He was fine against Toronto. He had more big saves than bad goals allowed, which seems to be a trend for Flyers goalies this year. But
sure does.
I'm sick of Kolosov. Fedotov's problems are fixable. You can't teach size. What? They're not fixable?
I don't know. I'm not a goalie.
Just tether him to the crease. He wants to do what every other goalie does, which is get big at the top of the crease. Go ahead.
They can go up to Allentown. They can get the handcuffs off the radiator that kept Alexei Kolosov in his hotel room, and they can bring them to Philadelphia, and they can handcuff Ivan Fedotov to the crossbar. Problem solved.
There you go. Yeah, because as I was saying, he tries to get out to the top of the crease to make himself big, but you're already big, bud. You just stay in the crease, and shooters won't get around you. Because I want to go back and look at every goal he's allowed and count how many he's just like flailing. He's flailing on or outside of the crease or on his ass. Like, if you're in a good position, which like the Flyers have a good goalie coach. Like Kim Delaball has been good in the past.
Clearly.
I don't know. I don't know.
That wasn't sarcastic. I'm serious. He's a good goalie coach.
It sounded sarcastic because the Flyers have had shit goaltending for decades now. But
maybe you shouldn't let the good goalies walk out the door.
Yeah. You shouldn't let
Stoley. I mean, Bob.
Yeah,
that's not a goalie coach problem. That's a management issue.
It is a management issue, but I want to see more from Fedotov. And if the Flyers are paying him $3 million a year, he needs to be playing. You need to see what you got. There was a comment on my article saying that there was probably a handshake agreement that he would be in the NHL no matter what, not the AHL, which is fine. He's 28. They got him out of Russia and whatnot. But I'm just sick of Kolosov and him thinking he's an NHL goalie, because he's not. And he's shown flashes here and there, and he could be an NHL goalie, but he needs time. He needs time. Yeah. And that's not, the Flyers aren't in a position to give him that time at the NHL level.
I mean,
not when they have Fedotov, when Ursin's healthy.
When Ursin's healthy. Okay. That's
even if all three of them are healthy, I want them to do a 3-man rotation. Don't sit Fedotov down for a month.
Yeah.
And have him come in cold.
Hey, we don't know how long Ursin is going to be out. If it's another couple days, then, we have this discussion. How do you rotate the 3 goalies? What do you do? If he's going to miss a couple weeks, Fedotov's going to get games, and we're going to see. I guess that kind of answers the question. Do you just let this goalie situation ride, or do you try and get a veteran 4th string goalie to try and shore up the position? What are you trying to do? Or do you wait till the off season? Even then, do you do something?
Yeah, I think you just have to let it ride. You can't bring in a 4th guy that wants NHL minutes. I threw it out there on Blue Sky, go out and get someone like Caden Primo, which a Canadians writer replied to me and said, if you want an NHL level goalie, do not get Caden Primo, because I think he has the worst goal save above expected or whatever in the league this season. But someone like that, someone young that has some NHL experience that you can start in the AHL.
You mean Itu Makanyemi, the guy that they already have? Who's injured?
He's injured. He's not going to be an NHL goalie though. Someone,
he's 24, 25.
Sure, someone like him, someone else like him that is not Cal Peterson. Cal Peterson should not be starting in your top developmental league. It's not maybe it's not a developmental league, but that's my main issue. I don't even care about the Flyers goalie situation. I care about the Phantoms goalie situation.
Wow.
I really do. Because the Flyers, all right, we got to figure out what Ursin is. He might be a 1A, he might be a 1B, he might be a 2. We don't know. Fedotov, sure, he needs playing time. So if he can be the backup, and he said Kolosov, go to Lehigh Valley or go back home, whatever. I don't know what they're worried about with Kolosov.
So
Maybe they're worried about he turns into a Bobrovsky and turns into a Vezina winner, and they don't want to give him up for nothing. But
they don't have to give him up for nothing. Like, they can just send him back to Russia and just hold his rights in perpetuity. Like, that, it's kind of a dick move, but like, part of me is wondering if this is part of the grand scheme of things, where like, oh sure, Kolosov, we'll give you the NHL minutes. And like at first fans are like, yeah, fuck yeah, we like a confident guy. We like a guy who's got the confidence to say I'm an NHL goaltender and go out there. And then here's the thing, he doesn't play like an NHL goaltender. So now all the fans are like, what the fuck, dude? You don't belong in the NHL. You got to go back to the AHL. And it's like, so Kolosov, you if they have to let him go back to Russia, maybe Flyers fans will stomach it easier because they're like, yeah, he wasn't an NHL goalie, and we saw that firsthand.
Yeah, it's not an unknown then. It's not a guy you just look at his numbers. It's like you've seen this guy. You've seen this guy not be able to hold the right angle. You've seen this guy not reach out and get a puck when he has
Can't
to.
Squeeze it.
Can't squeeze it. Yeah, it's just, and he's young. He can learn these things, especially at a higher pace level here in the NHL.
Absolutely.
The AHL is a higher pace level as well, but it's not fair to the team in front of him if you're putting out a goalie that you know is not an NHL goalie, because the Flyers right now, as much as you want to hate it, 2 points out of a playoff spot. If they had average goaltending once again, they'd be in a playoff spot.
Like, don't you love how at the beginning of the season we're like, yeah, Flyers will be so out of it because teams that we expected to be good were bad last season and they'll be good this year. And now we've got the Rangers doing what the Devils did last season, which is just chef's kiss.
I mean, the Flyers are behind the Blue Jackets and Canadians right now by point percentages, but that's wild.
Bro, what is the East? What is the East this year? It's not the beast. What's the opposite of the beast? Least. It's the least. The East is least this year. The West is best. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you can't go out and get a backup right now.
No,
I guess.
Don't. Why? For what purpose?
It's no. Yeah, there's no reason to give up an asset for maybe if Erson is out long term, maybe then you can kind of think about it. But
yeah, what's Antti Raanta up to do these days?
Go back and claim him for Mark.
Go back and claim him.
But also, there have been so many goalies moved already that like teams that are willing to move goalies have already done so. And like the only guys left are maybe Gibson gets moved. He's too good to come here. He'll go to a contender.
Right.
Like I can't think of anyone else that teams would be like, all right, this is our third guy. We can trade him for a mid-round pick. Like it doesn't happen. So unfortunately, the Flyers are stuck with what they have in net. And
or depending how you take this rebuild, fortunately, they have bad goaltending because they might just keep up this process and play excellent hockey and stumble ass backwards into a top pick because their goaltenders can't stop a puck, aka the Colorado Avalanche story of 2017, where they ended up with Cale Makar. So yeah, actually, I don't know how bad their goaltending was, but they had McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen, so I don't know how that team ended up with a top 5 pick. But yeah,
did they have Varlamov back then? I'm trying to think of who their goalie was in the mid to late 2010s. Whatever there.
Crazy.
Yeah, goaltending not good. You know what is good? Going back to the good stuff here.
Good stuff.
Got the Foerster Cates Brink line, the TCB taking care of business line out there. They are the third best expected goals for percentage for a line in the league. Among lines that have more than 50 minutes together, like significant time together.
Yeah.
Behind Hagel, Cirelli, and Kucherov.
Damn.
And Martinook, Stahl, and Jarvis. Like they are a great middle six line right now. They're starting every period. They have a few first shift goals already. Like
they're starting overtime.
They're starting overtime. These are 3 guys that never really played together before, and that was something I brought up back in November when the Farabee, Lawton, Brink line was doing so poorly. I was like, nope. I think I said throw Foerster, Brink, and like Cates or Lawton together. Like, and this is working. I love seeing Brink out there winning battles, undersized. You know, he balked up in the offseason. Foerster, that shot last night. I know Hildebee's not good, but that was a great shot there. He's been working. and Cates was a healthy scratch early in the year. Cates was playing on the fourth line wing, like
for Luchenko, like the next Noah Cates.
Yeah.
Well,
So
hopefully better, but
I mean, at this, like people were saying before the year, like, all right, Cates, whatever, he's an RFA, bring him back, be a bottom six or whatever. But now, I don't think his ceiling's more than a 3C, maybe a 2C with good wingers. But he can be a part of it.
Don't sell yourself short. I see what you're posting on Blue Sky comparing Cates' gameplay to
Coots, yes,
Couturier's gameplay over the first 200 games of his career.
Yeah. Well, important note there is Couturier was like 18 to 22 and Cates was like 22 to 25.
Irrelevant.
Age is just a number. Time isn't real. So true.
Also, Noah Cates is built like a goddamn horse. Like we've talked about it before, but during the bag skates at the beginning of the season, Noah Cates finishes those and walks off, and it's just like, yeah, no big deal. Like apparently he can just skate for days. Like, so who knows? Now the offense is coming around. Look, you mentioned Brink. I love how he has been so engaged at all times. Excuse me, since joining that line. I don't know if that's just something clicked for Brink, or if Foerster and Cates are like pulling him into the fight, because that is kind of how they play hockey. Is like that, tenacious forechecking style. I don't know, but it's working and it's fun to see. The Legion of Doom of 2025, but we need a better name, like the I don't know. All I'll say is that ever since I said the floodgates are open, Noah Cates has been on a roll.
They have not closed since then.
Have not closed.
No.
Were you the one that made we love this part of Noah's Ark? Like
yes. Loving Noah's Ark recently.
Yes, loving Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
God damn. God, we're lame. I love it. These puns are fantastic.
And then last night I said live in love. That was good there as well.
Love.
The one line I'm confused about, and I posted about this as well, is the Farabee Couturier Hathaway line. It's like when you look in the fridge, you try to figure out what you have left over to make a meal with. It's like, all right, Farabee Couturier Hathaway. That's what I have left after putting together Tippett, Paling, Konechny, Foerster, Cates, Brink, and Michkov, Frost, and is Lawton on that line now?
Yes, he's the left wing.
Yeah, I don't love any of the lines except the TCB line.
So I don't think the Flyers have a ranked first line, a second. No. They have 4 lines. Like if you look at the ice time for the players, Joel Farabee might be on that 4th line, but I put it in here, I think. Farabee played nearly 16 minutes last night against the Leafs. That's not a 4th line. Those aren't 4th line minutes. So like, I don't know, man. Like even Lawton on that ostensible top line with Michkov and Frost, I think he only had like 13 minutes last night. So
is that the top line? I would consider Konechny Tippett top line. How are they line? Let me see how they're listed on
Daily Faceoff. They are listed Frost line first, Cates line second, Paling line third, Coots line fourth.
It is, yeah. The Flyers have 4 middle 6 lines that they're rolling. I mean, Couturier had an amazing pass to find Lawton there for the tying goal, but Couturier, he's so slow out there, and I love how Jim Jackson changed. He doesn't just say the player skates through the zone, like he said Couturier rumbles through the zone.
He rumbles through the zone.
He's rumbling there. He's a big body. He can, but that's why I want to see him with Michkov. Michkov slows the game down. That can help speed up Couturier a little bit.
It comes back to, again, when we were talking about Pettersson at the beginning, what do you want your matchups to be? Sean Couturier is the best defensive center this team has. You're going to match him against the top competition on the opposition team. Also, the top competition on the opposing team is going to want the Couturier matchup because that's like the 2 best lines, whatever. If you put Michkov there, he's suddenly exposed defensively because Coots is trying to shut down Connor McDavid or whatever. So I get not putting them together, but if you keep throwing lines in blenders, eventually it's going to come up Coots and Michkov.
I hope so, because I just want Couturier and Michkov and Konechny together. Konechny, suck it up, play on the left wing. That's the best line. That should be one of your lines there.
We're paying you nearly $9 million. Play the goddamn left wing.
Or I don't know, Farabee maybe, but I think Torts has Farabee on that fourth line to try to get him more physical, more like just checking, more north-south type of game there. Because he was looking good on the top line for a bit. He just could not finish, and now
he shaved his head.
He did shave his head. Scott Laughton
fake hockey team status check.
Yeah.
Like what do you call that? A house call?
But looking at the game last night against Toronto, so the Flyers don't get the matchups. Austin Matthews played 8 minutes against Ryan Poehling, 5:55 against Cates. Like other teams are and only 125 against Couturier, so they don't want their top line against Couturier. So that's why I don't really think matchups matter that much. Besides in like the playoffs, like unless you're going back to back or something, but like teams. Sure, they're going to game plan for every team, but I don't know if it's that big of a deal right now. And I don't know. I just don't like Laughton on that. I just don't like the look of the lines besides the Cates line. That's pretty much what it is right now. They're close. Tippett connecting together is fine. Poehling, whenever he has the puck in the slot, I'm just like, all right, shoot it into his chest. All right, let's get an offensive zone face-off. But yeah. I mean, I can't hit them too much. They're putting up good numbers. I went over the advanced stats before, so.
Also, how many other combinations are left to try at this point? Not many.
I want to see Laughton, Poehling, Hathaway back together because that was their best line for a while. If they have that line together, the Cates line together, you can go Frost, Michkov, Tippett, and put the Farabee, Couturier connecting line back together. Like I feel like that was good for a bit, and I think maybe the next time the Flyers kind of have a lapse or two, maybe they'll go back to it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Then you can't get your. I guess you could do like Konechny, Coots, Michkov, Farabee, Frost, Tippett, but like I don't know. Didn't they try something like that and it really didn't work? Like Farabee, Frost, Tippett was like a disaster. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that. And it's also, I think we have to talk about Matt Michkov. I feel like he's the big elephant in the room right now. Like,
yeah.
Did his early start set expectations too high? I feel like it definitely may have. I'm thinking about writing something on that list this week because he had a great start. He's had some droughts here and there, and then had a multi-point streak, but he hasn't looked good recently. He just hasn't been noticeable. I do want to say against Toronto, he was skating more than I've ever seen him skate before. Like I saw a puck flip into the zone. I saw someone skate. I'm like, who is that? It was Michkov going into the corner, trying to battle. So I think JJ said the Flyers had a fast-paced practice the day before. So maybe that's what it was more about. Try to outskate the Leafs who played the night before, and get Michkov's feet moving, which I feel like is only going to help him.
He's busting his ass. I mean, I can't fault the work ethic, but Jonesy and Briere said at the beginning of the year, look, he's a rookie. Don't have the expectations that high. It's not that big a deal. Like he's gonna have slumps. He'll maybe after the Four Nations he'll be fine because he just gets some rest. But this is part of it. Rookies come in and they have some good stretches. They have some tough stretches, and buy the ticket, take the ride. Just enjoy it for what it is. Because when he gets back on a streak again, boy, is that going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was shocked that he was not a healthy scratch for the game in LA after being benched for the third period in Anaheim because Torts went to hold a lead there. But that was the only game in the past 11 games. He had 2 points, had the goal from behind the goal line, I think, banked it in, and then an assist there as well. But he's a minus 14 in the past 11 games, which I know, plus minus isn't great, but
great.
He has not been a plus in a game since his point streak there, which you'd like to see just stronger play with him on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come and go. That's just what this season is going to be. Also, maybe other teams like have the book on him a bit now, so they they're more prepared. I can't be mad. It's just like a bummer, but like we knew this going in that this was probably going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not mad. I'm not upset with him. It's just like
no.
The hopes were so high. He was the Calder Trophy favorite for quite a bit there, and now Celebrini is.
He's been killing it.
Celebrini's. I mean, he plays for the Sharks. You don't want to watch the Sharks, but he's great there in San Jose.
He's
the real
deal. Might be better than Bedard.
There we go.
Hey, Jinx.
Yeah. That should be the real comparison. Is Bedard versus Celebrini. I'm not sure who to compare Michkov to. Then is there a scoring winger in the past 2 drafts I'm forgetting about?
But Ryan Leonard.
Ryan Leonard's the beast.
Yo,
One more thing on Michkov. He's still on pace. He's still on pace for 62.5 points. He has 29 points in 38 games, even with this drought here. So, like you said, Four Nations should get him rejuvenated a bit, I would hope. And hopefully he's back with some, a line that's making some noise.
Yeah, I hope so. Also, there are some absolute psychos out there who are like, well, I should have taken Leonard at 7. And I'm like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Have you seen what Matvei Michkov is doing at the NHL level? Ryan Leonard rules. He ain't Michkov. Like,
no. He's not. I thought you were going to say that they were complaining about Zeev Bouillon just being a complete winner right now. But let's talk
World Juniors. So World Juniors happened this week. They're impossible to watch if you don't have like very specific subscriptions or other
or are a pirate.
Yes, yar. The USA won gold for the second year in a row over Czechia. No,
Czechia. Yeah, no, Czechia. Finland got silver. Finland got silver. All right,
Finland got silver. Heikki Ruonen, prospect on that team. That's fun. Bronze went to Sweden.
Bronze went to Czechia. Sweden lost.
Oh, that's right.
That was the 14-round shootout.
Oh, shit. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, I follow the World Juniors scores. Yeah. You can read about them on BroadStreetHockey.com. Our own Maddie Campbell is very much an avid watcher of those. Anywho, Canada got eliminated for the second year in a row in the quarterfinals.
That's a shame.
Huh? That's a shame. Yeah.
That's a shame.
We're both Americans, so, we got to USA.
Yeah.
That means Jet Luchenko, Oliver Bonk, and Carson Bjarnason all went home early. Meanwhile, Gabe Perreault and Zeev Bouillon looked pretty damn good in that gold medal game. Bouillon he was not good to start the tournament and still, according to the experts in the Broad Street Hockey Slack, made plays that you won't get away with at the NHL level.
Ooh, shots fired.
Shots fired. I think the same was said of Perreault. And I just wanted to check in with you, Gilbs. How are you feeling about the rebuild, seeing these two players that the Flyers could have had but passed on? Do you still trust in Danny B?
Well, the rebuild's over, first of all. But if the rebuild was still continuing here, yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to judge based off a 5-10 game sample size at the World Juniors where they're not playing their ideal roles. They're not. They don't really have a lot of time to learn the system they're playing or whatever. Like, it's just such sure, you can look at it. You can take positive things away from players, but I don't think there are really negative things you can take away. And I was looking up before, like, the best Flyers performances at World Juniors and whatnot. Like they're like Lindblom was great there. Mikhail Vorobiev was good. He had like 9 assists or something for Russia.
I know that name.
German Rubtsov was good for a little bit there, but it doesn't necessarily translate to the NHL. Also, Konsta Helenius played great for Finland. He had 6 points in 7 games. He's probably, I feel like that's the debate. Helenius versus Luchenko is going to be in the coming years. Yeah, because I mean,
both centers.
It's both centers. Hard to compare a center to a defenseman, and there had to be something with Zeev Bouillon to make him drop. Like, I was listening to 32 Thoughts, and Friedman was like, "Oh, I wonder why he dropped so far." It's like, Friedman, you're the insider. You're supposed to know that. Why is that a rhetorical question you're asking there? But I'm feeling fine. Like, I know there have been people writing for the Athletic or whatnot saying Luchenko and Bonk didn't look great, but whatever.
No one on Canada did. Yeah. That team was a disaster from the start. Mismanaged, poorly coached, 2 years in a row. I don't know. It's hard to it's like you said, it's hard to judge on a team like that, especially because they weren't playing the roles that they were accustomed to on their juniors teams. And some of the how did Easton Cowan make it, but Denver Barkey didn't? Like, Denver Barkey, by the way, 45 points in 38 OHL games. He might be our Marco Rossi. I'm just saying.
Is he a center? I think he's a center, NHL level.
Well, I don't know. He's like the same size as Marco Rossi, and he's a center.
All right.
Why not?
There.
Fuck. Just play in there and see what happens. Who cares? None of this matters. Just see what happens.
Luchenko, I mean, the World Juniors, you can see players show off their skills. And that's what Luchenko did on that one shorthanded goal.
Breakaway.
I'm not sure why the goalie didn't come out and play the puck, but he I think he picked off a pass and then it went ahead of him and
he skated,
faked the shot,
just flew.
Yes, and then he's so fast. He's an extremely fast player.
He's so fast. You know, when he had that breakaway goal, you'd think that would be a useful skill to have in the shootout that game inevitably went to. Do you think the coach used Jet Luchenko in the shootout?
That was the only goal they scored in that game too, right? Or one of the only ones, I think.
I don't know how many goals they scored. All I know is that the shootout went to like 7 or 8 rounds, and they didn't put Jet Luchenko. I think they used one Canadian player twice before they put Luchenko out. And I'm like, he scored a breakaway goal on this goalie. Yeah. Maybe you should use that guy. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know best. Clearly, the Canadian coaches know better than I do.
Yeah, that was a 3-2 loss. We scored one of the 2 goals there.
Cool.
But looking at the World Juniors, everyone's talking about Team USA coach David Carl. He's won now back-to-back gold medals at juniors. He's won a national championship or 2 at Denver.
Is he related to?
I believe he's the brother of
Matt Carl.
Matt Carl, who played for the Flyers.
Sure did.
Played with Danny Briere.
Oh,
the Flyers need to write a blank check, get David Carl as their coach. He's great with young players. Or what?
Start him on the power play.
No, he's not leaving college for anything but a head coach job. And he's very happy where he is. He has his family in Denver. He likes the smaller schedule and whatnot there.
Wait, he's the Denver coach?
Yeah, he's the Denver coach.
Oh, so he coached Bobby Brink.
He coached Bobby Brink. He coached Zeev Buium.
Well, I don't care about Buium. I care about our guy.
He's won two college championships in 3 years, back-to-back gold medals at World Juniors.
Maybe you bring him in next year as the power play coach with like a handshake, like, "Hey, if this goes well,"
he's not leaving. He's not leaving for a power play coach job, Joe.
If he's got the head coach job locked up a year later.
No, I think you just bring him in as the head coach, and maybe you have Tortorella pulling a few strings from above. But I think you would have to give Carl a job, and that's something you can. There's a blank check. There's no salary cap for coaches. No. That is one thing where having an owner like Comcast should be able to shell out a little bit for a coach.
Sure.
And he's young. The Flyers took a chance with Dave Haxtell. Not sure if that would stop them from going for another college coach, but
none of those people who hired Haxtell are still here. So
yeah,
why not?
Very good point there. But
I hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea. I like that.
It's a great idea. Apparently, I think Friedman said the Devils looked at him, but they always wanted Keefe, and they knew he wouldn't leave, especially after winning one. So, maybe after he wins another one, he's still 35. So,
he's
maybe
young.
Maybe not even the next Flyers coach. Maybe the coach after that, after the bridge coach. We'll see. Just an idea.
I'm still on John Cooper 2026.
Fair enough.
unless this guy suddenly expresses interest in leaving college, but I'm not holding my breath on that. Although I shouldn't be holding my breath that Cooper would ever leave Tampa Bay, honestly. But whatever.
Well, it'd make more sense probably for Carl to wait for Bednar to wear out his welcome in Colorado and just go there.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we talk future games? I think we covered the bulk of it. Any other World Juniors closing thoughts?
No, World Juniors closing thoughts. Trying to think if there's any other closing thoughts from the past 2 weeks of Flyers hockey. Fuck the Penguins, as always. Fuck Cutter Gauthier.
Oh, we haven't
0
recorded.
Points.
We haven't recorded. Thanks to everyone who showed up for the Festivus party. I don't think we've recorded since that. So
We have not. No, I apologize for not making it. I'm sure Joe had plenty of energy for both of us.
I did. I was very involved. I told everyone to bet Sean Couturier goal, and nobody would listen to me. and then he scored. And I'm like, new dad strength, man. That's just
yeah.
Anytime you see a guy coming into the lineup and he just had a kid, like, you bet a goal, like guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
Anytime Sidney Crosby can get a milestone against the Flyers, you bet that as well.
What was that? What was it this time?
I think it was like something mark on his assists, like something career assists that he hit.
Oh, did he move into like a new position in the all-time ranking, or was it like a total score? I don't know.
I don't remember exactly. 600. He had 603 goals, so maybe
it might have been his 600th goal.
It's a goal? No, because he had 3 assists. Yeah, he must have like taken the franchise leaders. Whatever it was.
God, I just looked up his page on Hockey Reference. 13 games played, 1638 points. That is just sickening, man. That's just crazy.
He tied Lemieux for Penguins' career assist record in win against Flyers.
Well,
so there you go.
Broken that now.
Yep.
Daryl. Sorry, the nickname section on Hockey Reference is
Daryl.
Yeah, one of his nicknames is Daryl, apparently. Another one is Creature, the Squid, Bing, Squidney. I don't know.
Squidney Crosby.
Squidney Crosby.
Oh, you know the what are they called? The like inflatable like animals. Like there's Roger Clemens. There's stuff like that. I'm pretty sure there's a Squidney Crosby.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Is that like a chia pet kind of thing, or
no? They're like, you know the Galapagos gang? Oh, the Superstars they're called.
Wow, I have no idea what any of that is.
Let me open a new tab and share this.
Superstars?
The Superstars. I believe they're more common at baseball events, especially minor league baseball events. But here is Squidney Crosby in all of his glory on the for our YouTube listeners here. He's 6'11", 1,987 pounds.
87.
And he resides in the Three Rivers there.
Oh, of course he's 1987. That's the year he's born, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. 87, 87, yeah.
God damn it. That's kind of fun.
Let me see what other NHL superstars we got here.
Zoo. Yes. Yeah, I got you now. I get it now. God, we should do a superstars for the Flyers. Not on this pod, but in the future. That'd be good.
You got Whale Gretzky, Bobby Orangutan, Mario Lemieux, Squidney Crosby, and many more.
Very missed opportunity for Mario Lemur.
Yeah, that's a good one there. That's a good one. I like it. Yeah. Gordie Howell would be good. We might have to do a Flyers Superstars.
That's an off season.
That's coming up. Yeah,
that's an off season project.
Off season or like Four Nations, something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing going on. Let me get Squidney Crosby off the screen. There we go.
Yeah. Speaking of nothing related to what we were talking about, the Flyers have 3 games this week. The first one is against the Toronto Maple Leafs. All of them are at home, which is nice after the road trip. The Maple Leafs, there might be some bad blood in this one after Garnet Hathaway fell on top of Jake McCabe and he got clearly concussed. Mm-hmm. And then Max Domi got fined like $5,000 for elbowing Garnet Hathaway. Yep. So we'll see what's happening in that game. Could be spicy. And then on Thursday they've got the Stars, which if you remember this time last year when they played the Stars, they absolutely dismantled them and had Owen Tippett's goal of the year. So that should be fun. Stars might be looking for some revenge. And then on Saturday, oh baby, 111. It's the big one. The Anaheim Ducks. The return. Well, it's not really the return, is it? The arrival. The first time of Cutter Gauthier. So, Gilbs, what are you thinking for the Leafs? What are you thinking for the Leafs on Tuesday? ESPN Plus game, by the way.
ESPN Plus game, 7:30. I'm thinking the Flyers do get a win here. I'm thinking it's going to be like because they were arguably the better team for most of that game on Sunday. I know Toronto was tired on the back-to-back, but I think they could squeak out either a 4-2 type of win with an empty netter in there, or else maybe like a.
Do you go back to Fedotov or do you start Kolosov?
I would go back to Fedotov. I don't
Okay.
know what the Flyers are going to do, but I think you go with Fedotov now until he falters.
Okay.
Short leash. He'll have Tortorella tell Kolosov again, be ready.
Be ready.
Like he did in that one game before. But yeah, I feel like you go with Fedotov again.
And you say 4-2?
4-2 would be my score there. Yeah, I think the Flyers with the better team. Fedotov doesn't allow that rebound. Maybe they win it.
I think the Leafs are coming out for blood. 5-2.
All right, 5-2.
Because I think if they start Fedotov, the Leafs will have the book on him, so they're gonna shell him.
What's the book on Fedotov though? Just shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck. He can't shoot it right at him. Shoot it at his chest because he cannot control the rebound. Just be in the slot so that when the puck bounces out, you can bury it. That's the book. That's the book on Fedotov. So Leafs 5-2. But it's going to be chippy. It'll be nice. That'll be fun.
Maybe we'll get. I'm not sure if Ryan Reeves is healthy, but I could imagine him dressing for this game. I know Nick Delorier is not healthy, but I don't know if Reeves is too much of a heavyweight for Hathaway, though. I'm not sure who else they have that could fight.
Sealer?
Maybe Domi could just fight Hathaway instead of elbowing him.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Or Joel Farabee, apparently, he hasn't dropped the gloves in a while, so
No, but he's on the fourth line now. He's got to play his role.
Hathaway's there too. Like,
I love how much.
Stop using those mitts for fighting. Use them for scoring goals, Joel.
I love how much Hathaway is just pissing off the opponents this year. Like every team they play seems like they want to just go after Hathaway. And Hathaway's like, "What? It's all right. Come on,
bring it." But Gills, he's blocking the AHLers from playing in the NHL. Is he really though?
His contract is too long, but in the future years, yes, I would agree with that. But for now, enjoy it.
Maybe next year, yeah, it's fun. All right, Thursday, the Stars.
It's not going to be good. Like there's a 4-game homestand here. I would like to go to a game, have a good time, see a win. Obviously, hope for the Ducks game for that. But Stars are rolling right now. They've won 4 in a row. Have points in 6 straight here.
They've been sloppy though. Like they're sloppy wins.
They've been good defensively though. They haven't allowed more than 3 in a game since before the break. So I think like a 4-2, 5-2 Stars win here.
I think the Flyers get this one 4-3 in overtime. Because the problem with the Stars right now, and I know this because Rupe Hintz is on my fantasy team, is that their top line is not good. They're starting to find it some consistency. They're starting to find it. But Hintz, Robertson, and whoever's been playing with them, whether it's Logan Stankoven, Wyatt Johnston, I think Mason Marshman was there for a bit. Maybe Tyler Seguin was there for a bit. Without Joe Pavelski, that top line seems to have lost its juice. And if they can keep that line quiet, Mason Marshman's out, Tyler Seguin's out. I don't know. The Flyers might have a shot in this one. Also, if Owen Tippett scores a beauty, then
that's a game I guess where the Flyers' depth could win out. But yeah, I mean, looking at the Stars, their leading scorer is Matt Duchene with 37 points. Jason Robertson only has 9 goals. Wyatt Johnston only 9 goals. So, I mean, they are getting better recently. But they could maybe catch them off guard there.
Yep. And then the last one, it's the quackening.
The quackening, yes.
The quackening.
Well, it depends if Cutter Gauthier opens his mouth before the game or not.
Forgot about that. Yeah. You think he's got the Philly flu?
He might. We got to check his calendar, see if he has this game circled as well for to get 0 points here.
I hate how much airtime we give this kid, but whatever.
Yeah, I think the Ducks are kind of good now. They've won 4 out of 5. Just beat the Lightning 4-1.
Yeah, tell me more about that. Please tell me more about how the Lightning lost last night when I was streaming their goaltender on my fantasy team. Tell me more.
Who is their backup now?
Jonas Johansson.
Oh, okay, Jonas Johansson. Still.
He held it down last year when Vazzy was out for 3 months. So
yeah.
But no, the Ducks have kind of been on one.
The Ducks are a team that could trade for Pettersson. I'm not sure if that's serious, but they have Zegras, they have McTavish, they have Carlson, they have 3 centers that if they wanted to take that next step for Pettersson, they could.
They're basically tied with the Flyers. The Flyers have 39 points in 40 games played, and the Ducks have 38 and 39. If the Ducks win, the Flyers are suddenly sitting at like the 7th draft position.
Yeah. Flyers just beat the Ducks 3-1 in Anaheim. Could see a similar game here. Ducks goaltending's pretty good. I'm thinking we're gonna have 3-2 overtime win.
Yeah, I think the Flyers are gonna. They came out to play when they were against the Ducks last time. I think they do that again, especially on home ice. I think it's just a beatdown, like 6-1. They just light them up. But that one goal,
Gauthier
goal. Yeah.
No. Yeah, that would be a great appetizer there for the main event of the Eagles game on Sunday. So I'm thankful that the Eagles game is not Saturday, because I want to go to the Flyers game. I would not go if the Eagles were also home, because that would be chaos down there. But Saturday night at the Farg, Cutter Gauthier is in town. Strict if he shows up.
I'm tempted to go. I mean, to be fair, there is actually like a flu going around the NHL. And again, I know this because my fantasy players are dropping like flies. Like, not for long periods of time, like a game or two. And I'm just like, God damn it. But, you know, maybe he does actually get the Philly flu, which would be hilarious. I think, God, this town would never let that go. But yeah, I think the Flyers get that one.
Yeah,
I might go. I don't know. Tickets are like sold out, aren't they? Like
Saturday games are always so expensive to get into.
I know.
Always.
I might look into it, because I've only been to one game so far this year. So.
Really?
Yeah, it was the Sean Couturier hat trick against the Wild.
Oh yeah. Right now the cheapest tickets on StubHub are $87 for the assembly room.
Ooh, pass.
So that's a pretty penny to pay.
I mean, I think that a lot of Flyers fans went on that West Coast trip because it overlapped with the holidays, so I guess a lot of people were off for work. We heard the boos.
Yeah, that was great. That was great to hear.
Every time Gauthier touched the puck, you heard the boos. You saw the Flyers jerseys. Like, people showed up. They took their PTO and they went to Anaheim to boo a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Or 20, however old he is. That is some dedication. Respect to you, folks.
Yeah, there also is potential snow in the forecast for Saturday. I'm seeing now on my iPhone weather app, 8 to 10 inches is being predicted for Saturday. So if that comes to fruition, maybe tickets come down because no one can go, and then we can just walk. We can just walk down to the game or take the subway. Yeah, I mean, right here, 8 to 10 inches on the app. I mean, that could easily change. Like yesterday, it said like 1 inch. So, you know, meteorologists, who knows?
Hey, I wanted to be a meteorologist when I was in elementary school. That was my dream job in like 3rd grade. Yeah. Weatherman Joe.
Weatherman Joe. You need like a good name, like Hurricane Schwartz. What would you be? Would you be
I don't know, man. That's
Monsoon DeMarini.
That's a mouthful. that's so many words. What other like cool storm words are there?
Look up weather terms right here.
Weather terms.
Cyclone. No. Degree. No.
DeGreeny.
Joe DeMarini.
Who knows? All right, we're getting off the rails.
Yeah,
this is turning into a Flyperbole episode. Sorry, Steve.
It is. You had a great Flyperbole with Steve right before the break there. So
we did. It was a long one.
Yeah, it was good. You guys went through the. Was that the
Naughty or Nice?
Naughty or Nice? Yeah, that was a good one there. So you can go back and listen to that.
Yeah, have a listen. It's evergreen content over there.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast feed on Apple Podcasts. If you haven't already, leave us a 5-star rating and review. We do like getting those. Haven't gotten one in almost a year now, so that'd be good. Spotify as well, and of course on YouTube. Subscribe and comment and like there. And of course, make sure you check out the broadstreethockey.com website. Subscribe, 16 cents a day for great hockey coverage of your Philadelphia Flyers.
Before we tell people where they can find us, the Flyers are sitting at the 10th draft position. Should we sign off with a bit of a draft lottery?
I can pull up Tankathon here.
Tankathon?
Let me do a Tankathon.
I did one earlier, and the Islanders and Penguins both won in the same lottery, and I was like, this is my personal home. All right.
3.5% chance of number 1 overall. Let's go.
Nothing. No
one moved at all.
Love it. That's fine by me. Hey,
Yeah.
Flyers got that top 10 pick everyone's
top 10 pick.
complaining about. Anyway. So, Gilbs, where can the people find you?
People can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop or on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.social.
You can find me at JF DeMarini on Twitter or .bsky.social. Make it Blue Sky if you actually want to get my attention, because I do not really do Twitter anymore. I keep getting I open Twitter once every 3-4 days and it's 6 notifications. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then I look and it's just this person posted this. And I'm like, I don't follow this person. Why am I being notified about it?
You got to turn those off. I forgot how I did it before, but I also have other accounts on there and I get them on there. I'm like, no, I don't care.
I don't care. No. Stop showing me Temu advertisements. I'm never going to buy any of that shit. Anyway, see you guys next week.
Until next time. Thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.